Hello, in this video I'll give you some information about how to use our report tool and how can we customize some forms in eFlow Designer by using the report data element. So we have a simple procurement process and it is just triggered by the initiator, then goes to approval to procurement. Then if it's approved, the initiator receives the form that was requested. So this is a simple process, and in order to create the form of that request form, I go to my eFlow report tool. I say I want to create a new report, and when I want to create a new report, I will need the queries, and the queries I already developed here. So I need two queries, one for the header for the scenario, and this is the header query, process ID, request date, requested, project, company. I will share these query in the comment section below. And also I will need another query for the rows, and this is C.CIID, price, quantity, unit price, total price, and notes. So let's just copy this query and go to my report tool, and let's create new report called maybe the request form, and I paste the query, and now I have access to the reports tool. I go to the forms, and you see here the data source, and in the data source I have one query, and I need also another query, and I go to my database and I copy the row query too, and I just paste it here. I say next, and I finish it. Now I have two queries, and I want to make this form dynamic, triggered by the parameters, and the parameters will be the process IDs. So let's go to parameters, and let's create the parameters by process names. I will call it process ID. I copy and paste the process ID. So I have my parameter called process ID, and now I go to my query, and in the query there's a default number as process ID, but I want to make it dynamic, so I call it process ID. I say next, and I want to add the parameter. So the parameter will be the process ID, and I will select the type as expression. You may see the details of this this parameter in our creating parameters YouTube video in the channel as well. So the value will be default 0, but the parameter that I created. Okay, it's done for the first query, and let's make the second query dynamic related to process ID as well. So I call it process ID. Next, yes, I want to create a parameter by using the process ID and the type will be expression, and the value will be here process ID. Okay, I say finish. Then that's fine. I have two queries and I already developed the parameters. Now I can go to my report and see how it will look like. Okay, now I go to my design and report wizard and I say I want to have data bound report. I say next and next. So I see here the queries. The first queries are from the header and the second queries are from the row. So I say next and I say, for example, I want to use the header parameters here and I say I want to create my report and let the report name will be request form. Okay, so this is the form. These are the headers and these are the rows. And here I can a little bit more customize my report. For example, I can just add the company logo and the company logo can be just, let's make it from here, the image and company logo, and I can also make the size skews like this. So the form is almost ready and I can make some cosmetics on it, of course, but this is the request form and the parameters are here and I added the logo as well. So now I save my report. I save my report and let's see how it looks like. Oh, I already developed the parameter and it's a process ID, so I need to enter a default parameter. So this is a random parameter, so there's no data related to this parameter, so there's no data, but this will be how it look like. So now what I have to do is I will just use this form in order to customize my report by using report data element in eFlow Designer. So in order to use this form in eFlow Designer, this is how it looks like. I have to download this file and use it in reports data elements. So I just download it and I go to eFlow. So eFlow, I just drag and drop the report tool, and in the report tool I write the description as request form. The data source will be eFlow. The export type will be, let's say, PDF, and the EFL file, I just have it here as request date, request form, I'm sorry, and I want to match this with my printout, but I need to match the parameters first, and the parameter is process ID, and I match it with the process ID of the process. So now I just, after approval, go to my report, develop the report according to the data that I fulfill in the process, and I just show the result, I mean the printout, to the initiator in the process. Okay, it seems fine. What I need to do is now saving the process and activate it and display it in eFlow web. So I go to eFlow web, I go to my task list, and in the task list you see here report data element process. I start the process. So the company, let's say methodology software, process ID is here, the project, let's say report to project, and the request table, let's say the product one, and product one, I want quantity notes, not the second line, and notes, let it be test, and I submit it. When I submit it, the supply request table initiated by this user assigned to procurement, and the procurement team will run the process and will see the process, everything read-only like this. If it is approved, then it goes to the initiator, and if you want to see the customized form, it seems like this. This is the header, these are the rows. Of course you can customize more the form, but more or less it will look like this, and you can create your customized form in eFlow by using the parameters in the process. Thanks for watching.